Hello everyone! A little while ago I did a video about all of my solo scrapbooks and all of the photos and everything from my solos. What I thought would be fun today is showing you the actual costumes from my very first duo to last year with Harley Quinn, my duo with Chantel, and my Graceful. So we are going to go through, I have them all, you can't see them, they're all laid out on the bed here. I'm doing educated guesses on when I think I wore these because I feel like there's a junior costume missing, but Mum and I can't for the life of us work out what it was, so we're thinking that back in the day, in like 1998 to now, that's when I started calisthenics, I'm old, I know, that the age groups were different amounts of years, and we think I may not have done long in either subbies or juniors, one of them. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. So, my first solo duo Graceful ever was a duo to When You Wish Upon a Star with a girl named Kayla, and we wore these matching blue lycra. I was very impressed that my mum sequined a star on the front leotard with the disco dot material, which I feel like everyone in their calisthenics lives has worn at some stage, and I think this is like the very first costume that my mum ever made. So cute. We then move on to, I believe, second year subby, and you guys have seen this costume before. This was my Tigger costume, which we apparently liked the fluoro colours with the fur on the front and my tail and the little cuffs. And can we just, like, this is so tiny and this used to fit me. So cute. So this, I believe, was second year subby. And then this is the one we're not sure on. This costume makes me laugh. It's so funny. Mum didn't even like sew around the crystal at the top. It's just a raw edge. I did the Power of Ra or something from the Prince of Egypt. I think it was Prince of Egypt. Mum, was it Prince of Egypt? Yeah. Yeah, Prince of Egypt. So I have this black and gold costume with, this must be the front because it's got the extra gem on the front. Black and gold with red trim costume, which is also, may I say, very tiny. I'm not gonna lie, as a subby, I really did not enjoy this solo at all, but I don't remember if this was subby or first year junior. I don't know, we're a bit iffy on this one, but this is my first serious solo and I did not like doing serious solos. I then did another duo with a girl named Elise, and I was a tin soldier and she was a ballerina, and we did, I think, music box dancer, which was really cute. And I remember this solo, well, this duo, sorry, was the year that I learned how to do a backwards walkover. And this is when I was a junior. And I remember it was the first move that I did coming on. I did a backwards walkover on, and it was like the most scary thing of my life. I reckon this is probably Mum's favourite costume ever. It's one of my favourite costumes ever. This was my Michael Jackson, Way You Make Me Feel. I can't think of what it's called without singing it. I did The Way You Make Me Feel by Michael Jackson. I wore this beautiful leotard with the little belt and the Princess Sweetheart neckline and backless, scandalous. And I remember my hair was like in those roller things where you wrap your hair around and then you hairspray it, and it was like crunchy and the curls would not move, and I had them on for like 3 hours and my hair was like not going anywhere. And then I think I wore fishnet stockings, and I had little like pink ballet slippers that Mum had like sewn, so they were like jiffies but lycra, and they laced up my leg. And in this costume at state comp, I went on and had a complete mind blank, and I remember standing on stage looking at the ground going, I have no idea what comes next. And I freaked out and I ran off stage, and my coach Katie was halfway through calling my lights and she was like, what are you doing? You were meant to be out there. And I just completely freaked out because I had done really well at all of the competitions that year, and there was so much pressure on state comp that I was going to do really well, and I psyched myself out. And you know what's great, kiddies, is that since that day I have never ever forgotten my routine on stage or freaked out or ran off or anything. Happens once, you learn, it never happens again. We then have, I believe this is first year Intern, and this is so scandy. I did a duo with Tennille to the Flintstones, and I had a two-piece costume. This is my very short skirt. This would not fit me now. This would fit one of my legs. And then I had this top, which I love this top because it was like this at the front, little crossover. And this material, I wish you could feel it. It's really, really soft. And that was our costume, and we did the Flintstones, and we had the best time. It was really, really fun. I think I was first year Inter, and that year was the first year I'd ever done 2 items, so I did a duo, and then I also did a graceful, and this is my very first graceful dress. Mum put silver around the bottom, which I thought was very, very fancy. My first ever graceful dress, and I did Shrek, not Hallelujah, the other song from the original Shrek. Anyway, but Mum had to, on the front where this chiffon is, she had to puff it up because I was a first year Inter, and I very much looked like maybe a last year subby. We had to make it look like I had boobies so I looked mature in the age group I was in. Because at this point in my life, I was that kid who had not quite grown into her head, hands and feet. And there is a photo of me in this costume. I don't know if I've ever shown it to you guys. I might have. Where I'm standing like this or like this, and my hand is like 4 meters long and the rest of me is the size of a toothpick, which I think is hilarious, but I absolutely love this costume. Can I just, before we continue, these have all been made by my mum, I mean, obviously, but my mum is like ridiculously talented, so you should go and check out her Instagram and Facebook page because the links are down below, and she actually makes and sells things like this. So if you need solo costumes, graceful costumes, duo costumes, and team costumes, my mum's got you covered. Alright, then I did another duo with my best friend Emma, and I was a boy, obviously, because I'm always the boy in everything. I was the boy again, and she was a girl, and we did anything you can do, I can do better. And she had a costume, it was similar to this, but it had a black skirt. Mine had the vest and the pants, hers had the vest and a skirt, and hers was this material but in pink with the same pattern on it. And we went to nationals for this in, oh look, I want to say like 2005 or 2006. Around that time when it was in Darwin, Emma and I went to nationals for this duo. So this costume has a lot of special memories because that was my first time ever at nationals, and it just like blew me away that I could go to nationals. So this one's very special. I think it was that same year I did another graceful, and I really didn't like this graceful. I really hated it. I did some like Il Divo song. It was in Italian. I had no idea what they were saying. They hated, like the adjudicators hated this costume because it made me look very hunched and angular because of the cut at the front. I think it's really pretty. I'd cross over at the back. They didn't think so. And it had a half gold, half purple skirt, and this is just not have great memories for me. Then I started having fun with all my solos and stuff, and now this, you know, subtle number, I did Copacabana. I absolutely loved it. It was the best time ever. I got to wear like purple and green eyeshadow, and I thought that was like the thing. This was my costume, and it had a huge open back. It had the strap across here, and then it's got like the little purple bit in your bum, and I absolutely love this costume. I kind of wish that it still fit me because it's so fun. And what was cool was that this year, when I was in Inter, we also did dance arrangement, and we did not like my solo routine, but we did the same music, and Mum made a whole team set of these, and it was one of the funnest things ever. Now we're at my last year of Inters, and I remember this because now we're getting into seniors. I kind of remember a bit more because it wasn't, you know, in the early 2000s when I was 8. This was my last year senior routine. I did mine hair. This was the second costume that I had because my first costume was like a foil print. It was black with like a silver foil print stripe, like kind of like pinstriping, and that all peeled off. And also how we had designed the costume. For my age, I was quite large in the chest area, and I was very conscious of it. And my costume was like a halter neck with like a sweetheart, like princess neckline. I'm not sure what it's called. And it continually slipped down, and I was terrified of slipping a nip on stage. And I said to Mum, like, I can't wear this. Like, it was pinned everywhere to not move, and I was like, I cannot perform like this. So Mum made a whole new costume because I'm that person and she is amazing. So it's got 3 layers of fringing as a skirt, and it's all velvet. all hand sequined, big low surprise, what's this, crystal back with gloves. And it was alright. It's got bugle beads. Remember when everyone, I think this is about like 2009, everyone went through that huge bugle bead phase and every single costume had bugle beads on it. But the worst thing is that because bugle beads are glass, they just snap the thread. So you would go on for presentation and the whole floor is just covered in bugle beads. Moving on to seniors now. This is when all the fun starts. My first year in seniors was when I started really picking my own music and making it what I wanted it to be. And I did not like to do the normal, usual thing in calisthenics that everyone did. So I did a solo called The Garden, which is a song by Kamara, I think you pronounce it. And it was very different. One day I might put it on my channel, I don't know. It was a very long time ago and it's really not great looking back at it now. But I loved it. And this was my costume and I scribbled it in a journal one day and like gave it to my mum. I was like, make it. And then she bloody did. So it's purple and green and it's got lace on the side here that has green mystique underneath, and the lace has kind of got like multicolored bits on it. Then we've got black mesh with the little ruffle, and this is all fraying because I went to a circus party, like birthday party, and I was like, I'll go as a trapeze artist or an acrobat and I'll wear this. And then I got alcohol all over it and tore all of the side because I'm silly. So don't do that, kids. Don't wear your calisthenic costumes to parties. My favorite part about this though is the skirt because it's 3 layers of 3 different materials. So we've got black chiffon, a purple mystique, and then we've got black velvet. And I really love how full it sits and how it sits around, and I just absolutely love this costume, and the fact that Mum drew it from some terrible scribble that I did is just so impressive. That same year I did a graceful, and I was a terrible human being and drew this really elaborate swirl pattern and said, Mum, can you please sequin this? And because my mum loves me very much and also doesn't really know how to say no, she did. So it's all around the back. It's one like continuous, it goes up over the shoulder, one continuous line, and I wanted it to look like a peacock, and I absolutely love this. It's just plain white skirt. I did 500 Days of Summer because that's my favorite movie in the world, and I used like the prologue bit about like the story of the 2 of them, and then it went into a song from, I think, Edward Scissorhands it went into. It was either Edward Scissorhands or...
Yeah, The Ice Dance.
Yeah, The Ice Dance from Edward Scissorhands. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, but I absolutely loved this. It's not white anymore because it's covered in fake tan. It's a weird shade of greeny brown. But all of the sequined... Like, Mum even went onto the skirt. This bit here, let me show you. This bit here, I can't get my hand in there. Went onto the skirt. Like, all of that is sequined onto the chiffon. She's insane. I love this one so much. I'm so sad it's brown. Then we have my funny solo, which I should put this on YouTube one day as well. I should put all of these because it'd be so fun. I did Happily, Happily, Happily Ever After from Once Upon a Mattress. This is my costume and it looks like an ice skating costume because it's like an ice skating pattern, and it's like one of my favorite ever. I love this velvet with the pattern. It's like got velvet, no, what's that called? Glitter all over it. I absolutely love this one. I had props in this one. It was so funny. It was great. It was a good time. I really loved this solo. Then we get a little bit scandy. I decided I would do burlesque, and the bottom of this costume is actually underwear from Cotton On Body. All of this like ruffle stuff, these are actual normal lacy underwear that we put on a costume. We actually went lingerie shopping to see if we could buy like a pre-done costume. Oh, I just dropped it. Costume or like lingerie that would work. It did not, so we made it ourselves. So it's like teal green and black lace. We did like the mystique under the lace again, and then this, can you see how this lace, it's like mesh. It looks black and then you move it as a color. Love it. But yeah, this was my solo, and this was my burlesque solo in 2011 that I was state champion for and went to nationals on the Gold Coast for. So this one actually might be on my channel. I don't remember, to be honest. But if you want to see some of these routines, let me know and I'll probably won't be able to upload them because all the DVDs are in the garage. But let me know anyway and I'll work something out. Then this is another personal favourite. This one is definitely on YouTube. This is my Angel solo from Romeo and Juliet, so you guys should be familiar with this if you've watched it. And Mum made these wings, and I remember the day she showed me and she was like, we're going to make them out of material, because at first we were going to do feathers. We were like, it's too messy. Then she made them out of material to make the wings on the back. And I remember seeing this, the cut for this skirt was on a dress online, and it took me ages to find the photo, and when I found it I was like, Mum, this is what I want. And then we made the skirt so it's shorter on the sides and it goes long. Absolutely love this one. Then we have Marilyn. This is the year that I started getting into wigs, which was really bad because it just meant that every year I had to do something bigger and better. This costume didn't get finished until the week of Nationals because we didn't realize I was going to Nationals until I got third at state. So we finished the back of this the week of Nationals. And then last year at Showcase for my certificate, one of the girls wore this as Marilyn. I quite love this one. Then these will all start looking familiar because these are all recent. This is my duo costume from the duo that I did with Georgia, which was a musical from Something Rotten. And for Something Rotten, look at how much fake tan is on that white lycra. Delicious. So this is pinstripe pants with the foot. We wore jazz shoes, white. Georgia's is exactly the same. This is a good costume. I love this one. We went to Nationals with this one as well, which was really cool. Then that same year I did all three that year. That was not last year, the year before. 2016 was the first year that I'd done all three. This is my Graceful Dress. The chiffon on this is so, so soft. This is when I did, what was that movie called? Mum, what was that movie called?
Miracles in Heaven.
Thanks, Miracles in Heaven. And it had like Fix You in it and Fight Song, and this was the first year that Mum started hand gluing on all of the diamantes and everything, and I found a formal dress and I was like, Mum, I want that. And so we based this off a formal dress because I just ask so much and Mum just delivers. So then the next year I ask more. It's a really bad cycle, to be honest. But yeah, it's all hand jeweled and decorated and absolutely stunning, and I very much love this Graceful Dress. And then this one is really fun. This was my Day of the Dead solo with almost every colour on the rainbow on it. So we've got white mesh at the top, and we've got that frill from my garden one as well because we had some left. And then we've got purple, red, green, and the bronze. And then we've got these flowers, which I absolutely love. Mum sews these flowers out of whatever material I decide, pretty much. So it's got the roses here, and it's got the ruffle along the back, and we've got the lace on the gloves and the lace panels here, and then we've got that full skirt again with the black lace, the bronze, and then a purple. I loved this one. And then we've got the little lace bit at the front, and it looks so stunning on stage. I love it. Now these are probably like my three most favorite costumes, and like you'll know why, but these are honestly probably my three favorites. So first off, we have my duo costume from my duo with Chantel last year. So this is based off Britney Spears' Toxic flight attendant costume, pretty much. So it's just like bright aqua and gold. It's got the little cutout here, and then little skirt and leotard underneath. This is like one of the most comfortable costumes I've ever worn, and it looks so good on stage because the color just like popped. Then this is my favorite duo costume, my favorite solo costume, my favorite Graceful costume because of just what they are. This one, of course, will look familiar. It's my Harley costume, which I don't think there's like all that much in it, but like I don't sew, so like who am I to say, if you know what I mean. But the fact that Mum individually glued on all of these diamantes to say Daddy's Little Monster, that's like, thank you. Thank you so much, because this is like my favorite solo costume ever. I had fishnet stockings as well. I had a glove on one hand, which I didn't wear on the Ballarat stage because I knew how slippery it was, so I didn't wear my glove. But I also had a choker that said put in. I had my bat, which I smacked on the floor at Nationals because I stacked it. And then I had my wig. Like, there was so much in this costume. It wasn't ever just this. It was like 800 layers and other things that I always had to put on, but this costume is like one of my favorite ever just because of how great it is, and it's got so much glitter from my Graceful Dress on the back of it because I reckon that's been melting in the heat from Queensland. And now, last but definitely not least, this could be probably my most favorite costume that Mum has made for me ever. So much work went into this one. I helped her because I'm a really nice person and because it was kind of my fault of how it was to look. So yes, this is my graceful dress from last year. Yeah, hands down, this is like my most favorite costume Mum has ever made me. There is so much in it, and when we were making it, we were really unsure of how it was going to go, and then everything just like completely started falling into place. So I did the Scarlet Pimpernel last year, and I placed 5th at state, which I think is the best that I've ever done with a graceful at state, because I'm not a graceful person. I'm a solo girl, not a graceful girl. Cali girls know that there's a difference, and I am one and not the other. I got my first medal for a graceful, I believe, ever in this costume with that routine. The routine was like my favorite graceful I've ever done. It's just absolutely stunning. I love the red, how bright it is. So it's got panels down here with this red mesh that I think, as soon as we found it, they started bringing it out in all these colors, and we just wanted to use it on everything. So it's got the mesh through here. This gold lace up here, it's got gold mystique behind it. Was actually the sample piece, because they were like, oh, we don't make that anymore, so if you want it, you can only buy the sample piece. And luckily, we only needed enough to do this bit, so I was like, yes, I will have the sample piece, thank you. It's got the little ruffle at the top and a bit of Zaza through here. Mum pretty much, like, I drew a picture. No, that's a lie. Lorinda sent me a picture of a costume and said, could you make this into a graceful costume but change the colors? And Mum and I played with it for ages on how we were going to do it, and then we finally came up, and we were both a bit skeptical, I think, on how it was going to look. And then as we started doing it, it just, like, look at it. And then there's glue and glitter in lines that Mum hand did on all of it. We glued all of the diamantes on by hand, every single one of them, front and back. And the most annoying thing is when you're gluing diamantes on, you have to wait for one side to dry before you do the other side. So it would be, do as much as we can, let that dry overnight. Do the other side, do as much as we can, let that dry overnight. Okay, where needs to be fixed? And then doing one side and then the other side, we had to make sure that they were like symmetrical with the same jewels on either side. So that took a long time as well to remember what we had done and to mirror image it and check that we hadn't missed any. Then we had to go through and add extra gems in places that looked like they were missing some. So much work went into this, and I absolutely love it so much. It is so beautiful, and Mum makes and sells these. Probably not as extravagant as this one because it took so long, and I think if I keep saying how wonderful she is and what she can do for you, she's gonna come in here and punch me because she'll be like, stop telling everyone! But anyway, like I said, you should go check out her Instagram, which is Shez Designs, and her Facebook, which is Shez Designs, and I will link them below. A little shameless promo for my mum because she is so wonderful in all of the things that she does. So they have been all of my amazing solo costumes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Even if you didn't like it, please give it a thumbs up so that my mum can see how many wonderful people appreciate her work. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all next time. Bye!